And it looks like maybe they switched in Decape, and Pink Assassin's now playing the Chokaku and Decape. So now rolling into the Fubuki. Looks like they maybe made that roster change, saying, hey, the Lexington just doesn't have enough. And what a balanced little loadout here. If there's a destroyer fight at B, I think TSF was just going to win it off pure numbers alone right now.
And Kantai's done a great job. They've spent all 3 of their destroyers across each of the cap points right now. So you're going to see, boom, 1, 2, 3, A, B, and C, all 3 being capped at once. That's a lot of pressure now that TSF has to deal with. What are you going to go contest? Because you got to go at least contest 2 of them actually right now in order to stay in the game and win 1 in order to actually be even with Kantai. This is a really great aggressive play from them really early on. You can see those fighters coming in and Submarine Wahoo popping that smoke to try and not get spotted here and not be a target to Rhino, who's now firing upon him anyways. You got Achilles coming in trying to deal with the Submarine Wahoo, trying to contest B and trying to at least do something here, because right now it looks like Kantai is going to take 2 points uncontested.
Now, I'm watching the show on ACAP, and you're going to be able to see it, and not me. The potential for the hero play of taking out the carrier is absolutely there. Pink Assassin spawned almost as far left as possible towards ACAP, and if they're paying attention, whoever the destroyer is that is on ACAP is paying attention, he knows that the carrier is at least in that general direction and could easily go and try to take him out. Well, Pink Assassin being smart enough to kind of send some planes that way, maybe take him out. I assume the destroyer at this point isn't going to go full YOLO and try to take him out, but it looks like he can send some planes there and maybe at least try to spot him and figure out what's going on there. I assume the destroyer will kind of pull off. B-cap is where the danger zone is right now. Achilles throwing in some torpedoes into that smoke that he knows a destroyer is there, and can they get lucky and get a quick kill on the destroyer? There's lots of torpedoes going into that smoke, and they know that he's there because they're still holding on the cap. Achilles is going to have to be the Matrix, or he might actually die right here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. Of course, they're pulling off on C point just to try and double down on B, I think, at this point. They really, really want to make sure they cap 2 points and keep them. And being spread between A and C is not the ideal situation they want to be in. Though that being said, a lot of these big battleships and cruisers are moving towards the C side of things. So they want to contest C and B and leave A by itself, but that's going to be a problem because I can see that there is a destroyer coming in. It is Rhino trying to move over to A to contest that and really make sure that they just don't get A for free.
And down goes Achilles. Achilles took 1 torpedo from, I'm not sure who it was, and then Submarine Wahoo looks like he finished him off, or maybe that was Destroyer Taylor actually gets him with a torpedo, and down they go. That is, they're going to be 4-2. Oh, actually no. TSF had the 4 destroyers, so now they're even up, and that was their advantage, and that happened last game when they lost the destroyer right away. So their advantage was having more destroyers, and just like that, they're down on points, almost about 150, and they lost their advantage of having an extra destroyer, and Snoop Dogg taking big damage as well.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, really no one on Kantai has taken much damage at all. Great dodge from Carrier Hero and the Benson, dodged a bunch of torps, spotting them for his North Carolinas to make sure they don't get hit as well. Of course, the carrier plane doing a great job, but of course they're still contesting B, and he said they're ahead at this point, and without some serious damage. But oh man, Carrier Hero is taking a lot of damage right now, trying to contest that B point.
Oh, what a shot from Mermon, just finishes him off. At least they even it up there. But B-cap still being taken. Decape kind of just hanging out in the smoke a little bit, right in front of Destroyer Taylor. Destroyer Taylor right in the open, about 6K away from a Fubuki. Now Fubuki, it actually has really, really good guns. It's not known as a gunboat, it's known as a torpedo boat. And the thing about the guns on the Fubuki is they shoot slow, but the alpha damage is very high, so every time he hits a shot, it's worth a lot of damage. In come the torpedoes from the Fubuki, and he just put a couple of good hits on Destroyer Taylor, and a couple of good shots from a Fubuki could get easily a Benson down to half-life. These torps might not even get spotted going through B.
So far, they have not been spotted yet, and there is some aircraft sort of going around there from, I believe, the North Carolina. But, yep. Just spotted those torps finally. Torpedo bomber coming over there, letting Submarine Wahoo, he's got to get moving now. But they've capped B at this point, so they don't mind getting off of it. And I don't think that there's any way that this can be contested by TSF at this point. Right now, really, it's only Quincy who's taking a good chunk of damage. He's being focused right now. But on the other side, I mean, Snoop Duck's taking a lot of damage. D-Bob's starting to take some damage as well. Silly Putty, you know, all three of the destroyers are usually pretty good. None of the destroyers are really in danger range yet. But in general, right now, with now 2 destroyers to 3 destroyers, at least they still have the advantage to try and move around the map. And maybe TSF can do something really sneaky here and try and cap A again. But right now, they're having a lot of trouble really trying to catch up here. Almost 100 points behind. Yeah, exactly 100 points behind at this point. But there it is, finally recapping A. That's going to help them get back in the lead a lot. Right now, since they're dead even, this is a great time to retake this point.
Now, Silly Play throwing in a hero smoke to try to protect T-Bob and Snoop Duck, both the lowest health battleships on this team right now. And Cruiser Quincy relatively low, down to about, what, about 20,000 life, but Snoop Duck's still on fire, so's D-Bob, so they're kind of just hanging out there. No, they're not spotted, thanks to Silly Putty's smoke. And TSF, I knew they'd start doing this a little bit more. TSF was going to try to push to A-Cap and maybe potentially take it back, but Rhino is going to be over there. Let's switch over to him really quick. He might go into a 1v2 situation. We might get some really good action over here. Rhino beached, actually, so he's not in the best situation, but he could get some really good shots on Submarine Wahoo. But in comes the Lo Yang, and they're going to be able to spot him with that with the sonar.
Yeah, but Cruiser Quincy is taking a lot of damage in his North Carolina. He is trying to back up, and he's waiting for the Kutuzov now to come in and try and smoke them up. Cruiser Yura is trying to protect him, but he's at 9k already. He is going to take a lot of damage regardless from all this fire coming in from the Fubuki, I believe. And you can just see the amount of damage that thing can do. Yeah, you'd be surprised. I mean, like, people think the Fubuki and, you know, that whole rest of that line is not great for its guns, but as you said, if you can land a few shots, you can destroy modules, you can do a ton of damage, and Cruiser Quincy is out of it anyway.
Right now, Decape takes out Carry Zukaku, as well as Silly Play taking out Destroyer Taylor. Rhino might actually be able to get out here without even taking a torpedo. No, he's definitely going down, but they did get a good exchange over on A-Cap, kind of winning a 2-for-1. Rhino's definitely going down. He's going to be taking actually 3 torpedoes here, but down goes Destroyer Taylor, as well as I think it's Submarine Wahoo taking a good amount of damages too, so they're going to be able to push in. Let's switch over to Silly Putty, and Silly Putty is going to actually be able to go and take A-Cap back, so now TSF is in the steering wheel. Cruiser Quincy down to about 600 life, and down he goes. TSF is in a commanding lead right now, only having 1 cap because both the destroyers are full life. Their battleships are doing okay. They've recovered a little bit, and they're getting some smoke from Tesla Chicken. So it's not over by any means for Kantai, but Kantai's got to recover a little bit and get a couple quick kills, especially on those battleships. The battleship's doing okay health-wise, the remaining 3. Oh, Silly Putty taking a big torpedo. Didn't need to take that. Really good from Submarine Wahoo.
Ouch.
But they're still taking that cap, and Decape's still at full life, but Silly Putty regretting maybe taking the angle and maybe wish he would have gone a little bit differently.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very big turnaround right now. I mean, these ships are really trying to slug it out, but, you know, overall, right now, TSF ships, they have more ships, but they're low health, and they don't have, you know, they've just taken the point lead back, and they need to secure it somehow. They need to not just lose it through caps, and so they've managed to do that. Silly Putty did not need to take that torpedo, though. That was really, really unfortunate. That's going to hurt them a lot, because now they're basically even with their destroyers. They've got Decape, who's got some health, but really their Benson, who really matters, is really at the same health as Submarine at this point. And so they've really got to take down either Snoop Duck or D-Bob really quickly here, and then they can kind of swing it back in their favor. But unless they can cap another point and take some, you know, really deal some damage, this is not a great place for Kantai at this point.
Look how tightly knit Kantai is right now. They have 4 ships within a square. But this is when a Fubuki and a Benson within 10 kilometers is very, very strong, especially Fubuki Torp. Snoop Duck on fire 3 times. I don't know if he has a repair. This could be a dead Snoop Duck. Down to about 8,000 life. 4 fires. The max you can get on a ship is 4 fires, and we are seeing that right now. That is what you call a battleship barbecue right there. 4 fires. Boom. Taking almost 1,500 a tick. Snoop Duck going down. So there is the kill that Kantai needed to recover, but it looks like Cruiser Yura are very, very low. Let's go to D-Bob really quick and see what happens, and in come the torpedoes, Cruiser Newport News, and the Turpit's trying to make a bit of a move, but if Yura goes down, I think these guys just push and kind of just finish off this game.
And Silly Putty, man, he's making some dangerous moves, but he's spotted right now, and he's down to less than 2K. Cruiser Euro looks like the Kutuzov's about to drop as well. A big volley of torpedoes coming in. May get a couple on Cruiser Otago there in the North Carolina here. So, unfortunately, I think they're just crumbling at this point. Kantai can't stay alive long enough to really win this game. They're going to just be down on points, and they don't have the cap, and they're going to have to outkill like crazy right now to get back in this game. You can see Submarine Wahoo trying to get out there, trying to get back to sea, deal with Nerman, drop some torps his way, and retake sea. That's their only hope right now, is to take a cap back and then just deal some damage, take out one or two of these battleships. But Cruiser Otago going down in North Carolina, that's really sealing the deal for them. All they have left is the Tirpitz, the Benson, and a Shikaku. Oh man, this is going to be a rough time for them. Cruiser Newport's just trying to get away, maybe get to A as well, recap out both of them and make them just take the lead just by cap control. But they can't survive this. I can't see this happening.
Now, Nerman might take some torps from Submarine Wahoo, or is that buff to the North Cal speed going to be able to just be enough? Looks like he's going to miss all of them. Submarine Wahoo sitting about 4,500 life. He is trying to take back C, but he's completely spotted. Silly Play doesn't want to engage too much because he's relatively low himself. TSF, they're slowly making that push. They gotta go on one Tirpitz, one Tirpitz is going towards A. They can kind of focus on the one destroyer. Nerman avoids all torpedoes, and they're just going to push right in, kind of closing the grips on the last destroyer. Now Silly Putty and Decabe's the only one with really full life. Silly Putty's relatively low, capping B right now. So what do you go? Do you send the two battleships, and Submarine Wahoo taking secondary shots already from Nerman? So do you send one towards one and one towards the other? Do you just focus on the one and focus firing them down? Looks like they're taking the island with a couple of those shots, but probably just send in Decabe, honestly. That's what I would do now with only 1,700 life. So Silly Putty going to try to get some vision on this guy. Tesla putting in some torps. Maybe he saw where he was going. Let's switch over to Silly Putty and see what he can see at potentially start working on that Tirpitz and slowly take him down. But yeah, like you said, kind of those last couple of kills were almost the nail in the coffin. Newport News is going to have to start detonating people with, say, secondaries.
Yeah, this is a real hard spot for them, but they're not going to just give up without a fight. They're taking back 2 points at this point, and if they can get a battleship down or two, then maybe. But short of that, they're going to need a miracle to get through this.
Well, Silly Putty, at least, they're getting the spots on him. Tesla Chicken kind of just hanging out. He's actually going to be, they're sending Tesla Chicken towards the destroyer. He gets one spot from the CV. That's all he's going to need is one salvo will take him out. Silly Putty going to round out on the bottom side and just get some vision on Cruiser Newport. But Benson, even with the right captain, has got a 5.8 kilometer detection. So either Silly's going to throw some smoke down or just throw in some torps. Now, the Tirpitz itself has 6 kilometer torps, so he's going to be within danger close on these guys. So Silly Putty is spotted now and might actually go down. But if Cruiser Newport and the dispersion on the Tirpitz work with him, and just like that, what a nice shot. But I think Cruiser Newport might actually turn into these torps if he's not paying attention. And Decabe takes out Submarine Wahoo, so it's basically Cruiser Newport versus the world right now.
Yep, this is his last stand. This is the Alamo. Oh man, against the two North Carolinas and a Kutuzov, this is not going to go great. Fabuki's not going to be able to do a ton of damage here, but I think he's going to do a lot of damage. He's just going to take a lot no matter what. He is rolling forward, though. I don't know if this is the best option here. If you can isolate one target and not get shot by multiple ones, I'd say that's a better choice than just rolling straight into them. But at this sort of time is against him, so I think wants to get between them, try and torp them from both sides, do a ton of damage, and try and get out, at least with some points, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Cruiser Newport at least going to try to get those dirt pit torps out, at least make the ship look cool. It's the first one we've seen all tournament so far for the playoffs, and send them out, at least show it off. Where are they? There they are, at least they go in. He's going to get all 4.
3.
Oh, only gets 2 on Nerman. Oh no, the poor Tirpitz.
Unfortunate, but unfortunately I don't think Newport's going to get out of here. I think TSF is going to take this to at least Game 4 in the finals round of the Supremacy League here.
So Nerman picking on him. Seabob, he's got him completely surrounded. He's on fire. Looks like at least 1 or 2 fires on him.
More torps.
There we go. They're sending them in. 900. And that's just kind of, it shows Kantai still controlled the map really well, because even with only 1 ship left, they still have the caps. So they're going to have to wait. And he actually gets debob with one of the torps, so that's actually kind of funny. So they kind of just have to wait out. They'll run over the other cap. looks like Destroy Minakaze is kind of probably just going to run to a corner maybe, and then just kind of roll with that. So, Q, we got a question. Is there another raffle open right now? A lot of chat, even though they're on the 5-minute delay. Did we close down that other raffle because people are still throwing in for the tickets and everything?
We're going to draw another winner from there for a second coin right after this battle, and then at the end we're going to give away some ships after the final battle. So stick around definitely until the final battle, but right after this one there is going to be some more coins given away. So stay tuned for that very shortly. I think this battle, as I said, is in the bag at this point. It's just going to take some time for them to get some points to actually win because Shokaku is hanging out on the other side of the map as usual. But being the sport he is, he's driving towards everyone, just waiting to die. If you're just joining us, you are watching the Supremacy League Finals right now. It is best of 5, and Kantai has taken one, and TSF has taken one after this battle.